Day one of the Australian Open couldn't have started with more buzz, as one of the most dominant tennis nations in history suffered a number of shocking defeats. The United States lost all three of their top women within hours. 2017 Australian Open finalist Venus Williams was sent packing after losing in straight sets to Switzerland's Belinda Bencic. US Open champion Sloane Stephens suffered an 8 straight defeat, falling to China's Zhang Shui. Last year's semi-finalist Coco Vandeweghe was stunned by Hungary's Timea Babos, who celebrated her first ever win over a top 10 player.
And that'll give it to her.
Playing in his first match since pulling out of a tournament in November with knee trouble, Rafael Nadal showed no signs of being troubled by injury in his opening match against Victor Estrella Burgos. A packed Hisense Arena turned up to see the Aussie crowd favourite Nick Kyrgios close out the first set against Brazilian Rogério Dutra Silva in just 28 minutes. Dutra Silva was simply overwhelmed by the power and pace of the Kyrgios game. And in a day of upsets for the Americans, Jo-Wilfried Tsonga continued their pain with a straight sets win over Kevin King. Australia's number 2, Daria Gavrilova, turned it on against American Irina Falconi, advancing to the second round in just over an hour. No less than 5 former Australian Open champions were in action on day 2. 2008 champion Maria Sharapova returned to Melbourne Park for the first time since 2016 with a crisp performance and a comfortable straight-set win over Germany's Tatiana Maria. World number 1 Simona Halep had some struggle against Australian qualifier Destiny Aieva, but managed to get through in 2 sets. And one of the most exciting talents in tennis, Alexander Zverev, still only 20 years old, but already world number 4, showed no problems against Italy's Thomas Fabiano. In his first match since Wimbledon last summer, Novak Djokovic made his return against American Donald Young. The 6-time Australian Open champion cruised through to the second round in straight sets.
Welcome back, Djokovic.
Another former AO champ also making his return after a long injury break, Stan Wawrinka, returned and had to dig deep to beat Lithuania's Ricardas Berankis in 4 sets. Roger Federer began his title defence against Slovenian Aljaž Bednaj. The world number 2 cruising through with an easy straight sets win, earning him an unexpected on-court interview with Will Ferrell, anchorman Ron Burgundy. And the home crowd welcomed Ash Barty to Rod Laver Arena for her tough 3-set victory over 19-year-old Aryna Sabalenka. Caroline Wozniacki struggled in the sizzling heat on Rod Laver Arena against 21-year-old Grand Slam debutante Jana Fett of Croatia. The world number 2 was on the brink of crashing out in the final set, 5-1 and 40-15 down, when she pulled off one of the greatest escapes seen in a long time. World number 1 Rafael Nadal was aiming for another quick day at work, and he gave Argentina's Leonardo Mer absolutely nothing, squeezing him in the rallies. The Matador threw in straight sets. An unlikely story unfolded in Margaret Court Arena when 15-year-old Marta Kostyuk stole the show, beating Aussie wildcard Olivia Rogowska and becoming the youngest player to reach the 3rd round of a major since 1997.
Game, set, a match, Kostyuk.
As the sun set on night 3 of the Open, Nick Kyrgios produced all kinds of tricks to control his Serbian opponent Viktor Troicki and set up a 3rd round encounter with Frenchman Jo-Wilfried Tsonga. The Australian Open was heating up with temperatures hitting 40 degrees. 6-time champion Novak Djokovic had a slow start in his match against Gael Monfils, losing the first set. But as temperatures soared, the Frenchman deteriorated and Djokovic booked his spot in the last 32. And another shocker unfolded at Rod Laver Arena, where Wimbledon champion Garbiñe Muguruza was beaten by 32-year-old Hsieh Su Wei. In an epic battle watched on by one idol and playing another, Nick Kyrgios won his first match ever on Rod Laver Arena. The 22-year-old won 3 tiebreaks to secure the victory, with the last coming in the 4th set to secure his place in the 4th round. Top seed Rafael Nadal maintained his promising early form at the Open, easing his way into the 2nd week, as did Argentinian Diego Schwartzman. Day 6 kicked off with one of the most memorable matches of the tournament between world number 1 Simona Halep and underdog Lauren Davis. Halep fought off 3 match points, and after 3 hours and 45 minutes, she sealed the deal, tying the record for the most games played in a women's match at the Australian Open. The upset of the day went to rising star Hyung Chung, who knocked out the number 4 player in the world, Alexander Zverev. The Korean talent chose the biggest stage for his biggest win, beating Zverev in 5 sets. Angelique Kerber quickly became the favourite to win the 2018 Open, romping to a 6-1, 6-3 victory over Maria Sharapova. Roger Federer played his vintage best to beat Richard Gasquet, while Thomas Berdych breezed past Juan Martín del Potro, both men progressing into the round of 16. The start of the 4th round at the Australian Open, and Carla Suarez Navarro booked her place in a 3rd Australian Open quarter-final, beating Anett Kontaveit. Caroline Wozniacki also winning through. World number 1 Rafael Nadal flexed his muscle on Rod Laver Arena against Argentine Diego Schwartzman, setting up his next round match with Marin Cilic. The Croat clinched his 100th Grand Slam match win against Pablo Carreno Busta. A spectacular encounter on Rod Laver rounded out the first week of the men's draw. Grigor Dimitrov kept his cool to knock home favourite Nick Kyrgios out of the Australian Open in a 4th round thriller. Rounding out a fantastic week 1 at the Open, world number 4 Elina Svitolina advancing to the quarter-finals over Czech Denisa Alertova.